Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be making a tutorial on how to cut and sew a bishop collar. This collar is especially useful for turtleneck. So if this is something that interests you, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. So to start with, we are going to be using the neckline of our blouse, this top that we've already made. So I'm going to be using the neckline. So I'm going to go ahead now and measure the neckline of this blouse. I'm going to measure it round. So after measuring it, it gives me 19 inches. So I'm going to be measuring it, I'm going to be cutting it out on fold. So I'm going to divide that 19 inches into two, and that gives me 9.5. So first of all, I'll be drafting it on this pattern paper. So this pattern paper is on fold, and I'm going to go ahead now and mark out my 9.5 that we got from measuring the neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and add half an inch to that 9.5 to make it 10 inches. This is because I want the collar to extend outside the neckline so I can attach press button to it. So I'm trying to indicate where that 10 inches ends. So after that, I'll go to the starting point of our pattern paper, which is that top part I'm pointing at. Then I'll place my tape there and measure 4 inches down. The number of inches that you go down with depends on how wide your neckline is. If your neckline is like 22 to 24 inches, you can go down by 5 inches. So I'm trying to make a straight line on that 4 inches. So from that 4 inches that I went down with, I'm going to mark out the height of my collar. You can use 2 inches, 1.5 inches, but I'm going to be using 1 inch in this tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead now and mark 1 inch all through to the that part where I indicated as the end of that 10 inches. So once I mark that 1 inch, that is going to be the height of our collar. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go in by 1 inch on that top line. So after going in by 1 inch, I'll place my armhole curve on it and just curve it up to the end of the pattern paper. And the reason I'm doing this is because you know the neckline is not straight, it's a bit curvy, so that the collar will sit properly. That is why I'm using my armhole curve to curve it. If you don't have armhole curve, you can use your free hand. So after that, I'm going to go ahead to start marking 1 inch from that curve down to the second line. Remember, the second line denotes our collar height. So once I do that, I'm going to connect that as well in a curve. So the moment I connect it, I will go ahead and measure what I have at the down part, because the down part is where we are going to attach to our neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and measure what we have at the down part. If it is more than 10 inches, we are going to mark it out. So it's a bit more than 10 inches, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark out where that 10 inches ends. So after that, we are practically done with our collar. So I'm going to go ahead now to cut it out of this pattern paper. So guys, this is what I have after cutting it out from the remaining parts of the pattern paper. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take this pattern paper and replicate it on my gum stay. So I've gone ahead to replicate it on my gum stay, and this is what I have. So I'm going to go ahead now and discard the pattern paper. So it's time to place the collar on our fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay my collar on my fabric like this, making sure that the shiny part that we are going to be using to gum it down is facing the fabric. So I'm going to use my iron to gum it down. So guys, I've gone ahead to gum down my my paper stay to my fabric. So I'll go ahead now and just mark out half an inch round the collar, which is going to stand as my seam allowance. So after cutting it out, this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and cut another piece of this collar. So I've gone ahead to cut another piece. This piece that I just cut out now is what I'm going to use to turn both collars inside out. So I'm going to go ahead and lay both pieces on each other, making sure that the right side are facing each other. But I don't like how sharp the edges are. So once I align them properly, I'm going to go ahead and just trim off some part of the edges, which is going to form a slight curve. So guys, after that, I'll take it to my machine and sew it down from that side to the top part, the way I'm tracing it out now, and end at the other side. The down part is where we are attaching to the neckline, so we are going to leave it open. So I've gone ahead to sew it down at the upper part and at the side. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and give it a notch. I'm going to notch it all round. Then after notching it, I'm going to turn it inside out and give it a very good press. After giving it a good press, this is what I have. So this time around, I'm going to bring my main bodice. So once I bring it in, I'm going to fold the neckline into two and notch the midpoint of the neckline of my bodice. So after doing that, I will take my collar tool, fold it into two and notch the midpoint of my collar. So after notching the midpoint of my collar, I'm going to place my collar on the neckline of my fabric, on the neckline of my bodice. So making sure that the midpoints are aligning, I'm going to place the side that does not have the paper stay first. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm already aligning the midpoint. So the moment I align the midpoint, I'm just going to go ahead and pin it all round. So after pinning the collar around to the main bodice, I'm going to go ahead now and just take it to my machine and sew it round. So guys, I've sewn the collar to the neckline of my main bodice. So the next thing is to take that side that have the gum stay and use it to cover up the stitch of the other side. So while covering it up, make sure the midpoints are aligning like we did the other time, and fold in the half an inch allowance that we left, which is going to ensure that the end of it is neat. See the way I'm folding it now. So that's how you are going to fold it to cover the stitch of the first side of the collar. So after folding it to cover it like this, I'm going to take it to my machine and just go ahead and sew it round. And as you can see, like I said earlier, I wanted some parts to be extending out of the neckline, so I have them already. So guys, this is the final look of our top. See the part there I pin. This is where I'm supposed to add my press button. See how the collar is standing properly on this mannequin. Thank you so much guys for watching this tutorial. Please do well to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.